Hello, you're watching Smart Money, and today we're taking a closer look at the evolving role of the Chief Financial Officer. It's no longer just about budgets and balance sheets, right? From navigating inflationary pressures, interest rate volatility, and supply chain risks to managing digital transformation, ESG demands, and growing regulatory scrutiny. The CFO's agenda has never been more complex or more critical as they steer companies through uncertainty and drive strategic value across the business. So today we're catching up with Brynn Jordaan, Business Consulting Finance Transformation Lead at EY Africa, looking at the transformation of the CFO function and how it's being expected to drive long-term competitiveness. Brynn, good to have you with us. So right at the top, lay it out for us with the scope or the mandate of the CFO having widened significantly. What would you say are the top 3 challenges CFOs are up against right now?
Top 3 challenges, I would say, is getting into how to be of value to your business and be that strategic advisor. But it's really keeping finger on the pulse from your business. There's so many things to consider, so many things you have to have data points for. And the excos and boards are asking much more complicated questions than before because we're in the market that just changes so often. So I think the top challenge is just keeping finger on the pulse and helping the business maneuver as best and as quickly as they can. And then the second is getting the efficiency in their people. To be this agile, your processes, your people, your systems need to be of a certain caliber to allow your agility to respond quicker. Yeah, and then it's really about continuous learning and innovating. I think that's the other big thing. The pace is changing, and it's how you keep pace with that and continuously improve. So I would say those are the top 3 things.
Yeah, because effectively what we're looking at, Brynn, is the disruption to the traditional, right, and the familiar. And that's what's forcing the transformation. But while that may be inevitable, transformations aren't easy, right? In research conducted with the Oxford Business School, EY, in fact, found that 75% of CFOs have experienced a failed transformation project in the last 5 years. So why is it proving so hard to get right?
You need a couple of elements to be in place for transformation. I think a big one is you need to have people understanding what this means for them and what this means for the organization and how they need to step up to the role and what it requires of them. And that journey is a journey, and we seem to always forget that we need to take people along with the change, and having people accept what the difference is for them and how to deal with that. So I think that's a big thing. Another big thing we're seeing is that we underplay the role of data with the way technology is going with AI. Connected data becomes a very, very important aspect. And you can build the most wonderful systems or wonderful processes, but if there's garbage flowing through it, it's going to make it very difficult to get the benefit out of it. So I do think between the people, connected data, that's a big thing that's causing these transformations not to get as successful as they can be.
So I'm going to home into the detail of each of those that you've mentioned now. So let's start off with mindset, because like you say, it's a big part of any transformation process. So how does EY work with its clients to shift not just their systems, but ways of working and more especially thinking?
Yes, a good one. Thinking, I think if you look at the finance community and the finance world today, there's a whole lot of different right brain skills that are becoming more important. So how good are you at your storytelling? How good are you at negotiating? How good are you at actually analyzing a so what of data points? And I think the first thing we need to do and we help clients is we help the finance professional become super productive with this new demand on what they need to do, right? And it's more about how you move from ticking a box to being more outcome value based. And I think that's the behavior and the mindset shift. Once we can get you to be thinking about how I add value or how I can advise, it's getting more to those kind of skills that support that. And I think that's getting people clear on that and how they can help themselves is a big way we help clients, because with AI, you have to be able to help yourself now. You've got all the stuff at your fingertips, and it's how you can start helping yourself become more effective and more value adding. So that's kind of the first big thing.
Well, I was going to draw on that, right? In that element that you've highlighted there, the focus on AI, the focus on digital, because where this evolution sees the CFO function move from being, let's call it a protector of value, to a creator or an enabler of value, we can't not talk digital, because if leveraged correctly, and you've alluded to it already, digital transformation has that exact same potential. So, how are technologies like GenAI actually transforming how finance teams operate, and enabling teams to create that value? How are you getting the buy-in, shifting mindset to start thinking about AI this way?
So I think my first thing to everyone is Gen AI is going to be your partner and the assistant you always would wish you needed. Um, with Gen AI, it's really changed the game in terms of it's helping you research better. It's helping you collate better. It's helping you think about how you can do something better. So we are finding that if you've got a typical week and you've got all these things you have to do in the week, you can start having Gen AI help you collect, make sense of stuff, and start preparing those first drafts of what you need to do, or starting to look for opportunities to where you can make your day better or more efficient and spend your time on more higher value stuff than the mundane manual stuff. So that's kind of the big help you get now from GenAI today. And the good news is it's available to us now. We don't have to go and do massive implementations and stuff. Obviously, we have to be responsible and clever with how we do it, because GenAI can really, you have to be responsible using GenAI because it's always learning, but it's how you use it to be your assistant, or how your partner for, collecting all these things you need to do to make your decisions, or help you produce your outcomes. So I think that's a big change. In the past, you had to wait for a functional spec, a requirement, someone to build it and then implement it. Now you can actually have a conversation with GenAI to help you make your day more efficient, your tasks more efficient.
Yeah. While all of this is available and at everyone's fingertips, Bryn, what are still the common characteristics that stand out in organizations that are truly ready for digital financial transformation?
The truth is, I think you'll be close to ready because the way things change so fast. But I do think you are ready for digital transformation is if you want to get to a point where you want to innovate a bit faster, right? Number one. And number two, you can get that continuous learning culture going because you have to start being able to teach yourself and learn because you've got the AI that can go and help you get the information. And I think a big thing is you want to look at how you continuously add value. I think that's the word comes around value, and looking at value from different aspects, how you get cost efficient, how you make a process work at a higher performance, how you add value with what you have to do as an outcome in the organization, and ultimately to your shareholders and to the customer. So it's really about how can we all start looking at how our pieces become more value adding and continuously improve and can innovate. I think that is what you need to always use and partner for digital transformation.
Absolutely. And all of this is imperative, right? Because, you establish finance as a model for efficiency and effectiveness, reduce costs in their own function. And, they'll have the experience, but also, I guess, more importantly, the credibility, Bryn, to lead those efforts across the rest of the organization as well. So what do you believe makes for a transformative CFO in today's fast-changing landscape?
Transformative CFOs accept that they are now more of a value architect for their businesses. Yes, you have to do the regulatory stuff and make sure you can be a steward, so financial steward. But I think transformative CFOs accept that they are value architects for their organization and they play a much bigger role in being that advisor to help the organizations maneuver. I think that's the big thing. When they get that, then a whole lot of other pieces fall into place because then they can take charge with helping organizations navigate digital transformation. They are the best place to do it because finance always seems to get the the pilot or the first, they must be the first to go into it and try it out. So they are really in a powerful position to advise the rest of the organization of how to organize themselves. So I do think that for me is the big key of what makes a CFO transformative.
And how does EY Africa support that finance transformation?
We support it in a couple of ways. I mean, we've walked the road with CFOs because we've seen it from the audit side, so we understand the pain of getting finance to function in a very efficient way. But I think where we really help CFOs is we help them do it in a smart way. I think everyone thinks if you do a transformation like finance, it needs to be this long 4-year journey. But the technology has become so innovative and so quick to access that you can start being smart with the changes. You don't have to go and make these massive changes all the time. That is required for the long term. But while you're doing that, you can start doing some very smart stuff in the short term that gets a lot of value unlocked, a lot of efficiency unlocked for you. And that's where we help the CFOs get clear on how they want to navigate that. Because it's different for different CFOs. I mean, some put a lot of emphasis on certain aspects of finance they want to get right. And the good news now, you've got that flexibility of getting that correct. So that's how we help them. We help them figure out what's the smartest way to navigating and unlocking some of that value as quick as possible.
Well, Brynn, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for having joined us on
Thank
Smart
you.
Money today. Brynn Jordaan is a business consulting finance transformation lead at EY Africa.